Every day, more and more road users are filming their journeys, which can often end in disaster. Pioneered by motorists in Russia and Eastern Europe, dashboard-mounted cameras are constantly recording our behavior on the roads. From the bizarre, to the ridiculous, the funny, to the downright dangerous. The thousands and thousands of dashcams around the world have captured just about every mishap you can think of. Now we're going to delve into this treasure trove of stupidity on the roads. Put things right by pointing the finger of blame. Replay the action to see what really happened. And of course, there's nothing like seeing other people's mistakes when it comes to helping us become better drivers. And please remember, on all the clips, yes, that's all the clips we show, no one, and that means no one, is seriously hurt. So drive safely. Not everyone is this lucky. On today's one-stop shop for useful driving tips, the following motoring madness that, had it happened in Britain, would result in contraventions of the Highway Code. Article 176, only move forward when the traffic lights are green. Section 230, Clause A, drive with care in icy or snowy conditions. And Section 230, Clause C, take care when overtaking vehicles spreading salt. As well as many more examples of simply shocking driving. "20% of all the traffic on our roads is made up of deliveries. Drivers transporting their precious cargo, doing their utmost to arrive on time and meet their deadlines. But what they don't tell you when you log on to track your parcel is that far too often, mayhem ensues. Time for some very special deliveries. Rule number 1 for delivery drivers is to make sure your cargo is secure. But here is concrete evidence that some drivers choose to completely ignore this most basic of guidelines. If you've ever wondered why white van drivers get a bad press, then you haven't seen one trying to do a U-turn on a busy highway in appalling conditions. Another failed delivery. Did you know that the car up ahead is James Bond's latest vehicle? That's right. And it's fitted with the latest getaway device. There it is. Polystyrene boxes and sheets of paper. Well, what were you expecting after the budget cuts? It's dark. The music is spooky. I've a feeling something is going to jump out at this driver. I was right. One for the logbook there. This fella's doing well, driving along calmly, safe speed, good lane discipline, and a safety barrier of all things is hurled into the road. Oh, the sweet, sweet irony. Now, I'm no MOT inspector, but there's something about the lorry in front that doesn't look quite right. Ah, it's the lack of wheels on its left-hand side. That's just normal wear and tear, though, isn't it? Of all the places to pick, the middle of a busy motorway isn't the best spot to set the table for dinner. The driver of this long-distance transporter is clearly in a hurry. So much so that his truck drops its load. Sounds like it's not the only one. There's simply no accounting for the amount of mind-numbing stupidity demonstrated on the roads. It seems that for every decent, sensible driver, there's half a dozen nincompoops out to ruin our day with a low-level collision. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at these stupid shunts. Remember that song by Alanis Morissette, the one about irony? Well, I've got a new verse. Ready? It's like sliding into a gritter that's literally just gritted. You can thank me later, Alanis. As the safety campaign slogan goes, think bike. It's a simple concept. Sadly, it requires a brain, something this motorist doesn't have. this next driver is speeding, showing off, and getting nowhere fast. What a shunt. Nice spin from the van. Shame there are no marks for grace. Next, it's a combination of clowns. The speeder herring down the outside, and the tortoise creeping across 2 lanes without using mirrors. It's that Peugeot I feel sorry for. Was there an angry French lion in the story? There is now. Poor visibility causes thousands of accidents around the world. But it seems that brainless drivers cause far more than that. But they're not all selfish. Here's a light-jumping Dumbo, sharing his recklessness with everyone else. How kind. And his generous streak must be infectious, because this guy wants to share the love. 1, 2, 3, 4 shunted vehicles. It's a bumper payday for the local mechanic. It's always nice when a fellow commuter decides to make the journey to work more interesting. This fella has completely ripped up the rulebook. It'll never catch on, though. Traffic slowing, brake lights on, people in the road. Perhaps it would be a good idea to slow down. I think she's saying, why didn't I hit the brakes? There must be a queue ahead, because that white van has put its hazard lights on. But it seems his fellow road users don't believe him and want to see for themselves. This isn't so much ice skating as an ice hockey brawl. Everyone is flying in to have a pop. But don't worry, viewers. These fortunate fools are also completely unscathed after their stupid shunt. Keep your distance, everyone, especially in the snow. Next, it's the game that's been taking the insurance industry by storm. Why take it to court when you can play the Car Crash TV blame game? Right, who's to blame here? Yes, the silver hatchback has crossed the junction without due care. Read the Highway Code's Article 170. Who's at fault here? Obviously, it's the blue hatchback that's turning across a lane of traffic without checking it's clear. But it's the car waiting patiently at the lights who bears the brunt of his mistake. Next up. No need for discussion here. This fool doesn't even look before turning into oncoming traffic. And finally, showing complete ignorance of his mirrors and other drivers, it's the silver simpleton. That's it. Add up your scores, and if you got more than one right, then well done you! It's one thing when idiotic drivers come a cropper. It's another when their foolishness gives a load of other people a big bill at the garage. Just like Diana Ross, this next collection of clips features cars unlucky enough to be caught up in a chain reaction. When you've spotted a crash ahead, the best way to avoid a chain reaction is to slow down. But this driver thinks he knows best. When a small pickup truck breaks every rule in the book by cutting across traffic, we've got ourselves a chain reaction. The culprit swans off scot-free, leaving mayhem in his wake. Surely a contender for Driver of the Week. This next crash is so avoidable that it left me shaking my head. Only now, I've got a cricked neck. Either that, or that dash cam has come a cropper. For some reason, that people carrier has his hazards on. Perhaps he's alerting other drivers to his utter incompetence. If he was setting out to ruin the day for 3 other drivers, then it's mission accomplished. Unfortunately for this next driver, repeatedly expressing surprise, doesn't help you avoid an accident. But you know what does? Sticking to the speed limit and applying the brakes. That's right, madam. This guy has left plenty of space as he approaches the upcoming junction. Shame the guy behind him didn't do the same. Thank you, mysterious shunter of the rear. That's 4 cars you've ruined. Next, watch the driver of that snow-capped estate car as he wonders how to get round those 2 flatbed trucks. But too much wondering can lead to 2 less cars on the road. On the plus side, that driver just pulled off a 270-degree spin in a flatbed. I'm glad his gas canister was secure. Coming up, more marvelous examples of how not to drive. And gallons of glorious gaffes. Plus, we'll honor one deserving road user with the title of Driver of the Week. But before all that, see if you can work out what's about to happen here. The answer is just the other side of the break. Welcome back to Car Crash TV, the only unratified, unverified, and completely undignified guide on how not to drive. Before the break, we asked you what happened next. The answer is, amazingly, the collision between truck and car is narrowly avoided. Wait a minute. Smashing. If there's one thing that motorists should be wary of, it's bikers. Anyone mad enough to strap themselves to an engine on wheels and weave in and out of traffic is unlikely to take any prisoners. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the worst examples of motorbike madness. Only cool people wear shades and dress so they're color coordinated with their moped. Only idiots crash into a 4x4, pull a forward roll, jump up and drive away. Making sure to crash into another car as they escape. The advantage of being on a motorbike is you can skip a lot of traffic. The disadvantage is that if you drive like an idiot, you risk being crushed by much bigger vehicles. Only perfect braking from that lorry driver allowed this rider to walk away in one piece. Amen to that. And if you're rushed for time, a shortcut is often a good idea. This moped man is using the controversial drive through a solid metal object shortcut. It'll never catch on. Sunday nights aren't like they used to be. I love tuning in to Last of the Summer Wine. Looks like Compo's taken a shunt here, though. What will Nora think? You join this biker as he enjoys a lovely ride in the country, soaking up the fresh air and... Ah! It's some sort of giant metal monster! Abort journey! Run! Oh, it's a combine harvester. Phew, still... Did it have to loom around the corner like that? It appears that this biker is auditioning for the next Bond film. If the bike had just slid further and he'd smoothly remounted on the other side, the position would be his. Thankfully, he's all right. Most bikers who just got clipped by a car would be extra careful as they continued their journey. But this isn't most bikers. This is Daredevil Dave, king of the road, master of wheelies. Absolute fool. Now this guy makes Daredevil Dave look like a pussycat. He's decided to reenact a scene from the game Grand Theft Auto. We don't know what the Lada's done wrong, but it's about to get a darn good thrashing. Ouch! 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 Larry the Lada is going to have sore windows in the morning. Phew, he got away in the end. One of the basic tenets of driving is paying attention to the signs. the most obvious and iconic of which is the humble traffic light. So clear, so obvious, and yet to some road users, completely mystifying. To further your driving education, we found the very worst examples of approaching the lights in the world. Let's master the basics. Green means go, red means stop, and in this case, amber means go really, really fast. What happens when two people run a red light? Their insurers have no idea who's to blame, that's what. Good luck, underwriters. This guy is just patiently waiting to turn left, indicator on, observing road rules, and then that happens. Life is simply not fair. Hold your horses, Goldie. You're not going anywhere. Everything here is clearly on green. Proceed with confidence, my friend. Isn't life just cruel sometimes? I prefer it when both cars involved in the running of a red light are equally to blame. I present dumb and, well, equally dumb. The beauty of the traffic light is its pure simplicity. When it's on red, you stop. Except sometimes someone comes along who thinks he knows better than the planet's other 1 billion road users. Ridiculous. How long does a light need to be on red before skipping it is unforgivable? This one's been on rouge for over a minute. And that was unforgivable. Yes, there's always some idiot who thinks they can beat the lights. And there he is. You'll only spend a few safe minutes waiting for the lights to go green, but Nigel Mansell here decided it wasn't worth it. At least he's all right, though. No, Nigel. Did you know that in South Africa they call traffic lights robots? I suppose they are pretty high-tech. And obviously too complex for that guy to decipher. Someone call the emergency services. Don't bother with the landline, though. I've got a feeling it won't work. As every experienced driver knows, no matter where you are, whether it's day or night, you must always expect the unexpected. A normal afternoon drive. But hold on, what's this? We've stumbled across that classic family favorite game, Car Chase. All you need is a busy road, a car, and a lunatic. Looks like he's lost all round. And his slipper. Next, science fiction becomes science fact. Look out for the invisible death ray. Well, actually, it's just a cable being used to tow that truck. But I didn't see it, and neither did that unfortunate driver. Just to be clear, holding out an olive branch is an offer of peace. Throwing an entire tree onto the road at midnight is the opposite. That was close. Yes, sometimes hazards can come from nowhere. See what I mean? That must have been one heck of a pothole. And talking of being blindsided, nobody saw that coming either. Fortunately, the evidence is there for all to see. How exactly did that happen? We may never know. This next lesson comes from Russia with love. A completely inexplicable reversing maneuver. Until that is, you see what spooked the driver in front. No one expects to be confronted by an angry Sean Connery on his day off. And what's he doing with that hammer? I don't think that's standard MI5 issue. The last thing you expect on your way home from work is a detour via the Grand Canyon. Years from now, they'll be flying tourists in helicopters into that hole. And if you thought that was weird, you won't believe this. Someone has put a springboard in the middle of the road. Told you wouldn't believe it. And finally, when driving through an enchanted forest, always remember to keep your wits about you, as you just never know what you'll come across. In this case, an angry troll guarding the road and demanding payment to pass. Oh, wait, that's just an angry drunk bloke. In which case, I recommend ignoring him and putting your foot down. Perfectly executed. After that bonanza of driving brilliance, all that remains is to decide who is Driver of the Week. In 5th place, it's Alanis Morissette. At 4, it's Last of the Summer Wine. In 3rd place, the Phantom White Van Flipper. Coming 2nd, it's Daredevil Dave. But there can only be one winner, and due to his perfect timing and placement, it's the load-dropping HGV driver. Next time on Car Crash TV, more backwards balminess and pretty poor parking. Whatever you do, keep safe on the roads. Not everyone is as lucky as this lot.